Well, good morning, everybody. We are going to go around the bases, but I just begged everybody to start the show this way because how else should we start our Thursday morning other than going out to Coors Field inside the Mets broadcast booth with Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez, and Steve Gelbs. And Steve Gelbs deciding to buy a $45 Glazilla at Coors Field and Lady and the Tramp moment with Keith. Truly iconic. Look at Gary in the background. Just look, he wants to get in on it, you can tell, but he let Steve and Keith have their Lady and the Tramp moment. And I don't know what's better television than this. To my SNY friends, I love you so much. And my question to you, X, is would you and Steve share a Lady and the Tramp moment like that? Tell me.
You know what? I think I would, man. I think I would just for the fun of it. I know it would give a lot of giggles and laughs to everybody. Plus, I mean, that thing actually looked pretty good. I'm not a huge hot dog person, but it actually looked decent. And from Keith Hernandez's reaction, it looks like he enjoyed it. Steve Gelbs as well. And they do a great job on the broadcast and having fun. That's one thing I love about watching their stuff is they're going to have some fun.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I absolutely adore the SNY crew, and these moments are what make TV so great. We're here to entertain, and Steve has a new segment, Let's Be Frank, and he's rating all the hot dogs in the league. He was not kind in St. Louis. I will tell you that. It did not make me happy. He slandered my city, and I have payback coming for him. Don't you worry. But I know. But he and Keith sharing such a tender moment while eating a very large $45 hot dog is iconic. Moment. That's how we're going to start the show today. Now we are going to go around the bases because that's how we always start the show with our single, and it's the Los Angeles Dodgers. In fact, it's the Andy Pages game because he went yard not once, not twice, but 3 times, and the Dodgers crushed the Astros, winning 12-2 yesterday.
Swung on, hammered, deep left field, way back, and this ball is gone. A 3-run home run, Andy Pages, and the Dodgers lead it 6-1. Pages rips one deep to left. It is gone into the Crawford boxes. A 2-run home run for Pages, his second round tripper of the ball game, and the Dodgers lead it 9-1. Pages swings, hits a drive to left, and this ball is gone. A 3-home run day for Andy Pages.
The at-bats, obviously I thought today were very good. Andy certainly was a highlight, and it was good to see, guys like Shohei swing the bat well. I thought Freddie swung the bat well. I think Tucker had a really good road trip. So just across the board, I thought it was good.
That's Dave Roberts talking about Andy Pages right there. 3-home run night as the Dodgers beat the Astros 12-2. And look, like we can talk about underrated players all we want and as much notoriety and excitement that the Dodgers bring every night. I believe this is the most underrated player in baseball right now. What this kid is doing on a night-by-night basis, sitting in the lower part of the lineup with an OPS over 940, now has 8 home runs on the year. I think what I appreciate most is the adjustments. And I'm always diving into what's made this guy get off to this type of start. It's the ability to hit breaking balls and off speed this year. Last year, hit the breaking ball at a 274 clip. Last year, 251 clip, off speed, 271. This year, breaking balls, hitting them at a 274 or a 381 clip, and now batting average at a 417, also on the off speed. So just the adjustment of knowing what you're doing on secondary pitches. Everybody can hit the fastball once you get to the big leagues. Now it's like, how do you start to make the adjustment on good off speed? He's done that this year, and he's now driving it out of the yard consistently. Danny, and then you look at the defensive side of what he does, making plays quietly, makes it look easy, throwing guys out, one of the better arms as a center fielder in the game. This is the most underrated player we're watching right now.
I love the fact that he's just tucked away in a lineup full of Hall of Famers and superstars. And the bottom of the order for the Dodgers is showing up and showing out, right? We mentioned it. Dalton Rushing the other day was leading off when Ohtani was on the mound. Now he's in the bottom of the order. He's producing down there. You have Pages, who's popping off right now in the bottom of the order. They were monster in yesterday's game, but they have been so productive all season long. And guess what? You want to win in October? You want to compete with the best in October, you got to have guys in the bottom of your order who can turn it over, who can give you some production, a competitive at bat, right? Not just going up there and having to free swing or feel like this is going to be an automatic out. They're not. They're never an automatic out. That's a nightmare for teams to deal with. So for Pages to have a game like this is awesome. And he has trended this way. You mentioned the improvements he's made, especially on breaking balls, especially on the fastball. Like, this kid is so young. He still has so much to go. So I love to see that. A huge win for the Dodgers. They needed that too, by the way. They have kind of had a home run drought as of recently. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani, who's working through some things at the plate. Good to see him have 2 knocks in the game as well. But we got to get to our double, and it features the Tampa Bay Rays, who once again have just obliterated the competition. Their home cooking, playing at the Trop, has been the difference maker for them this season. They're able to beat the Blue Jays for their 12th win in 13 games.
Little pop fly, shallow center. Out goes second baseman Williamson. It's another sweep for the 2026 Rays. Their hot start continues as they have a perfect homestand, their first in 3 years. They sweep the Toronto Blue Jays and throw another shutout, beating them today by the final score of 3-0.
I mean, he pitched and mixed really, really well today, and they threw a pretty tough right-handed lineup against him, but he got in rhythm and, never came out of it. But the strike throwing was pretty elite. Letting the defense work behind him was pretty elite. So everything looked really good for Shane. Happy for him.
Just trying to be unpredictable and just really just pitch. I think was guilty in maybe my first couple starts of just throwing and, obviously getting the feel back for stuff. And but I think, now it's more of, trusting with 40, trusting Fetty, game plan with Snides and, the matchups and understanding what I do well versus what they do well.
Gotta love the honesty there from Shane McClanahan himself. You also heard sound from manager Kevin Cash of the Rays. The Rays are being discounted, and they are the second best team in the American League. They just swept the Toronto Blue Jays, and this can be a dangerous sign for opposing teams. Shane McClanahan getting back to form. The one thing that he has not had is the velocity going back to when he last pitched. He usually averaged around 97, 98. He's been typically around 95. Yesterday, a tick up with the average on the fastball. So good to see there. Not necessarily the swing and miss yet, but you heard him talking about pitching instead of throwing. And that's what I've been watching him do is, okay, let's get back to figuring out how to attack guys with the arsenal. I thought he did a much better job yesterday of getting weak contact and much more efficient with his stuff. Only walked 1 guy. So the command was there for him yesterday against what can be a dangerous Toronto lineup. And the Rays right now you're looking at a team that's pitching better than most other teams in the league. And it's with guys like Shane McClanahan, who will be a focus at the top of this rotation moving forward. There's no way they find themselves into the postseason without Shane McClanahan doing the things we've seen him do. Also, you got to love the different dynamics in which they can score. They're leading the league in sacrifice bunts and being able to lay down bunts to move guys over. So the way this team is winning, you have to watch out for it. And they just shut down the Toronto Blue Jays and swept them. The Rays now sitting at 24-12 right now.
Can you believe how much we're talking, by the way, about bunting in the game right now in 2026? It delights me. It brings joy to my heart. There's a great article on MLB.com right now. If you haven't read it, go and read it. But you're right, that has been a part of their game. But let me give a little love to Shane McClanahan because got to see him in spring training. This is a guy who's been fighting to get back for 2 seasons. He is the bread and butter of the Tampa Bay Rays. He is the epitome of what they represent. And for him to get back, I mean, he was emotional in spring training, just being back in the clubhouse, back with the guys, back on the mound, all those little things. Like, he had so much gratitude for those moments and the things that he missed so much. But he right now is riding a scoreless streak of 16 2/3 innings. Like he's getting back to that Shane McClanahan we know him to be. This is a guy who I thought could win multiple Cy Young awards. That's how good he is. So this is great news for the Rays. Their offense right now is a beast. The top 4 in their lineup X has been so good. But Shane McClanahan just given up, I think it was 2 hits. Let me look at this box score. 2 hits, that's right. And then you had Kevin Kelly come in right after him out of the pen, just 2 hits. The Blue Jays mustered 4 hits off their staff for the whole game. So just really impressive that the Rays continue to find ways, Eric Neander and Kevin Cash, with the construction of this lineup. So a big win for them. The Rays at home have been absolutely disgusting. Where's my stat here? They have won 6 straight and 10 straight at home. So good luck playing the Rays at the Trop this season right now, my friends.
Let me say one more thing about these Rays, because I think what you mentioned about the small ball, right?
Yeah.
Like the threat of that within itself. There was a moment in the game in the bottom of the 4th inning. Johnny DeLuca scored, drove in the first run of the game. And then Chandler Simpson came up, one of the, if not the fastest player in the game right now, because he has the threat of laying down the bunt. You get runners on third and first. I'm sorry, you get the third baseman and the first baseman both in with 2 outs and a runner on third. Like they playing in, watching the bunt. Chandler Simpson goes boom, pulls one to the right side through the 4-hole. So it allows him to open up the rest of his game. And that's what the Rays do, is because they can put pressure on the defense like that, it opens up other aspects of the game. And we've seen them really take advantage. And then the bullpen has been able to finish these games out extremely well.
How about the Rays and the Yanks being the only teams in the American League above 500 right now? So a lot of love to Tampa Bay and what they're doing, especially in the American League East. We're going to get to our triple. Tell me if you've heard this before. Go Cubs, go. A third walk-off in a row at Wrigley. It has been unbelievable, and the Cubs able to come back after being down in the top of the 9th inning. Pete Crow Armstrong ties the game. Michael Busch with a walk-off walk, and the Cubs win 7-6 over the Reds in 10.
Swinging a drive, left center field, pretty deep, back toward the wall. That ball is gone! That ball is gone! It's a tie game! Can you believe it?
You know, Ashcraft is very tough on lefties. Very tough. But you know, Pete did a nice job, and he got a pitch he could handle. He got a slider. I think it was a slider, like probably middle down, is my guess. And he put a great swing on it.
And the pitch on the way. Inside, Cubs win the ball game. The Cubs have won another one.
3 straight walk-off wins in the series against Cincinnati.
You heard sound there from Craig Counsell, manager of the Chicago Cubs, and it's been crazy what they're doing in Chicago at Wrigley, but also just in general, winning these games in the streak that they're on. I want to highlight Pete Crow Armstrong's swing, because in the bottom of the 9th inning, it looks dire, because the Reds were able to put up 4 in the top of the 9th, and then Pete Crow comes up with the situation with the runner on first. He works the 3-2 count. So I like the idea of being patient, not feeling like you have to go outside of yourself. And the ball that he smoked, ball was absolutely smoked, 104.5 off the bat. You saw it rising to the opposite field, 475 feet. I loved that he felt like he didn't have to pull the baseball, just went with it and was able to scoop it. I'm going to start calling that. Instead of Rafael Devers scoops, I'm calling Pete Crow Armstrong scoops, because the ball was 1.45 feet off the ground. It marked his 6th home run on a pitch no higher than that since the start of the 2024 season. Only Devers has more of those pitches that he's been able to get underneath that. So the fact that he's able to get to a pitch like that, we understand he gets to a lot of pitches outside the zone. It could be to a detriment of his game too. But we do like the fact that he's going opposite field with that pitch and drives it to tie the game, and then they take care of the rest in the top of the 10th. The Cubs are on something different, because they were supposed to lose that game yesterday. They on something different right now.
Yeah, the thing that stands out to me was in the top of the ninth inning, you have JJ Bleday, who's able to tie the game, and then Ellie De La Cruz. So Ellie hits a fly ball to right field. Seiya Suzuki's at the wall, makes the catch, falls down. It's so dramatic in this moment. And for the Reds to be able to be in this position, 2 runs come home off his sac fly. That's not supposed to happen. Like, that's incredible. Matt McClain, who had gotten on earlier with a sac bunt, hustles home to give the Reds the lead, to your point. Like, unbelievable job. That is so Tito Francona laced in the way that they played this ninth inning. And to your point, the Cubs aren't supposed to come back. The Cubs are not supposed to win this ball game. And yet they did it on Monday. They did it on Tuesday, and they do it on a Wednesday night, and they're rocking and rolling at Wrigley. Like, what a blast to be a Cubs fan right now. And Pete Henry, Crow Armstrong, to your point, it's fun to watch him have fun. That makes me happy. I think that makes baseball fans happy. So a huge win, 3 walk-offs. The last time they did that against the same team was 1943. They're 18-3 in their last 21 games. Craig Counsell earned his 200th win in a Cubs uniform. Like, good luck playing the Cubs at home too. Like, they've been unbelievable. But the game of the night, the moment of the night, is our home run, and it is Paul Skeens bouncing back after a bit of a rough game against the St. Louis Cardinals. He throws up 8 scoreless, sparkling innings against the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Pirates hold on to win 1-0.
Swing and a miss, struck him out. Skeens strikes out this side in the 8th. And the Pirates come to bat in the 9th. Still leading 1-0 in Arizona.
There were times that every pitch was working, but it wasn't, they weren't all at the same time, unfortunately. So I was, happy with it. We were executing our pitches or close to executing our pitches, and Henry called a great game. Let the defense work, and they did a great job. So, I felt good about it.
I don't know what else there is to say. He was unbelievable. Getting head and counts, the elite stuff, being able to put guys away, low pitch count, very efficient. He was unreal.
Heard a sound there from Paul Skeens himself, as well as Don Kelly, manager of the Pirates, and he was systematic with his stuff yesterday. Efficient, organized, whatever you want to call it. Throw all of those SAT words out there, because what we saw him do yesterday was come back from the tough start with the Cardinals, right? He does something against the Cardinals he got going on, but bounce back, and not a whole lot of swing and miss necessarily. I thought the ability to use different pitches, attacking, getting weak contact from a D-backs team was done magnificently. And he really needed to be that efficient, because Soroka was really good on his own side, 6 1/3, only giving up the 1 run. But to see Paul Skeens go out there 8 innings, I think he gave up the consecutively had 13, 14 outs, and then gave up a little dribbler. So just the idea that he's going cruising, knowing he can get to anything, any spot with any pitch. The splinter was on point yesterday, did a nice job with the sweeper, of course. The fastball was where it needed to be, diving down. Skeens is on a different level after having some trouble with the Cardinals. Like, when he bounces back, watch out whoever got to face him, because that's something that's going to be different. He did exactly that yesterday. Brandon Lau, shout out to him too. Offensively, home run, the only run that they needed. And he's been a difference maker in this lineup since being traded over.
Yeah, to watch, the Pirates this offseason finally give Paul Skeens some run support. We were looking up those numbers earlier, and he was in the bottom 5 of starting pitchers getting run support last year. In the bottom 5 of starting pitchers getting run support last year. Now he's top 5, and Lau is a part of that, and Ryan O'Hearn is a part of that, and O'Neal Cruz, when he is on, he is as dangerous as anybody else in the league right now. And so for him, it's only 1 run, and that comes in the first inning. But Paul Skeens set out this offseason to make sure that he could go deeper into games, and he wants to take the ball and go 8 and 9, and he wants to close it out. He wants to be able to give his teammates high fives on the mound when the game is over. That's where he wants to be. But the fact that he was able to use different pitches first, second, third time through the order and mix it up. The Diamondbacks only had 3 base runners. It was 2 hits and 1 walk for the entire game. Gregory Soto comes in to shut it down. But when I saw Paul Skeens in Pittsburgh, it wasn't the outing he wanted against the Cardinals. But I said to him, I'm like, hey, I've seen you smiling a little bit more this season, maybe soaking it in a little bit, maybe feeling more comfortable. And he laughed. I'm like, are you getting soft? He's like, no, I'm not getting soft, but there's a little more enjoyment, I think. And that also comes from seeing your team invest in you and support you and defend that Cy Young. Like, all Paul Skeens wants to do is win a World Series. He'd throw everything out, I guarantee you, to go win a World Series with this team. So for him to shove for 8 innings, we don't get to see that. What a treat. What a treat for baseball fans to get to watch a performance like that.
Well, and I love how he relies on the fastball. He's sitting 97, 98, right? But then he gets 13 outs on that pitch and then starts getting outs more on the changeup and more on the splinter. So the ability to say, okay, let's make sure second time, third time through the order, I'm starting to use some other looks. And that's where he keeps guys off balance. And as a hitter, I'm just thinking about how tough it is to attack and be ready for 98, 99 anyway. But then a guy that commands every other pitch and doesn't walk guys, that's what makes you get off balance. And we saw the D-backs off balance all throughout the course of the night. So when I got to attack fastball 99 at the top, but also look for a pitch that moves vertically like 20 feet across the plate or horizontally as well, it's just, it makes it tough as a hitter to try to line up my barrel with that. And I go out of my typical game plan to try to match up what somebody's excellence is and try to get to where their best pitch is. And it's just impossible to do so. I just wanted to note, you did mention the guys that they brought into the offense. What that's given them is more of an offensive identity. If you watch the Pirates over the past few years, it didn't seem like they had a collective identity and game plan on a day by day basis. Now it looks like they have a true approach and what they're trying to do. That's what Lau does. That's what O'Hearn does. That's what Ozuna does, even though he hasn't gotten going yet. Those guys have won because they know what a collective approach is. And so you inject that into this lineup and you start to see the benefits of that.
Yeah, it's been a blast to watch, and it's fun to see the Pirates have success with Paul Skeens and the entire crew. They're rocking over there. When we come back, we're going to be joined by a special guest. The Tampa Bay Rays have been red hot. I'm calling them the Red Hots right now. Nick Martinez, starting pitcher, is going to join us right here on MLB Network Radio and MLB Network. He'll join us when we come back from break.